All right.
Welcome to my place. What do you think?
It's a nice little spot. Nice little part of Toronto here. It's cool. A lot of different floors.
You're kind of talking like Stewie.
Floor buttons.
Have you seen Family Guy, Stewie?
Yeah. Of
course
I've seen
Family. Turns. That's a nice little thing here.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing.
I don't.
It's got a nice little cozy little spot.
I hadn't even thought of that. I didn't even realize who's gonna be our intro guy and who's gonna be out. Who's gonna?
Oh hi, I'm Marcus.
Hi, I'm Joachim. Welcome to White Belt Life.
Joachim.
Yeah, Joachim. That's how you say my name. Welcome to the show, everyone. That's how you're learning how to. What are you ughing at?
All like Joachim. Why don't we just call you Joe?
Because Joachim's my full name. That's what I go by when I'm doing comedy stuff.
What is your Joachim? What?
Joachim Hackshaw, but so the first name's Yiddish, last name's Scottish. So
Yiddish.
Yiddish.
What is that?
Different, like Jewish, but.
Oh, you're Jewish.
Yeah, I don't practice though, but yeah, it's my family.
Oh, this makes a lot of sense. Oh, I get it. Okay. Yeah, because a lot of Jewish people are like in it.
Exactly.
It's a very Jewish thing. Seinfeld,
Just trying to follow the bloodlines, so keep up, be like another Jewish comedian / writer guy.
You guys have it. That's your field.
Oh, we're crushing it. I can't remember who was the Jewish comedian who said. I can't remember who it was, but there's like a guy who everyone was like, "Man, you guys dominate the entertainment industry. Why do you guys dominate it?" And he's like, "Well, because we're good at it. Like, why do African Americans?
Why do black people
play basketball?"
Yeah.
I wish I could remember who said that.
It was at a roast.
Yeah.
It was at a roast.
Yeah.
And it was like Pete Davidson. Oh no, something like Nick Kroll, something like that.
Could be. I can't remember. I don't think it was him. I can't remember. But anyway, doesn't matter. So.
Yeah, I wish there were more Chinese people doing this, but no. But it's a growing thing now. There's a few of us.
Yeah.
Not too many.
Well, you've got like a little niche in the world. Everyone's like, Have you seen
Crazy Rich Asians?
Yeah, I saw that with my girlfriend.
What do you think?
It was pretty good. It's like it looked like an ad for Singapore at times.
Yeah. Singapore is not like that at all. It's just people in flip flops.
Yeah, you could definitely tell that the Singapore Tourism Commission was like.
Yeah, exactly. There's just people in wife beaters and flip flops.
But that's the thing though. That's like the magic of the movies. Is like I've been to Singapore, but
you have.
But it still fooled me again. I've been to Singapore. I've kind of seen.
You haven't been there long enough. That's
yeah. I did like 4 or 5 days there, which I've been told is plenty of time. But I saw that movie. I was like, oh man, I want to go back. And I was like, yeah. Forgot about it a bit.
And the thing is, everywhere is a great place if you're rich.
Yeah.
If you can go to Namibia and have a great time.
Exactly.
You can probably have a great time in Namibia for much less.
Yeah. Well, that's true. Like I've been to Vietnam, and you can have a great time in Vietnam on my current income.
Yeah, exactly. I can live like a king in like Thailand.
Yeah.
$2 like for lunch, easy.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's like the good stuff.
I think, but that's I guess what Crazy Rich Asians was doing to me. I guess I didn't actually realize what my mind was doing was going, I want to be rich, and I thought it was just.
I don't know why people
like,
think that would be like a good movie to show about Asian people, because Asian people are not like that at all. You know what? I would love a movie to be like normal poor Asians.
It's not quite.
That would be authentic, because that's film. That's like art. You want people to know what real life is like about maybe 65 Asians live like that, maybe.
Some people want to see authenticity in film. Some people want to see The Rock hanging from a skyscraper. Like, spoiler alert, he probably can't do that in real life.
Exactly.
Like,
The Rock is killing it.
I don't think the average income, relatively sane Asians is going to be such a. I'm probably not lining up to see that.
That's the thing. It wouldn't be relatively sane. It would just be but in poor. Like, it would actually make it more interesting.
Yeah.
Because for a lot of those Crazy Rich Asians, they solve their problems by throwing money at it. But what are you gonna do when, like, let's say you can't solve a problem by throwing money at it?
Well, it's like it's a different. It's a different premise for sure.
You get to see people under pressure.
I think the funny thing about that movie was like the whole. You've seen it, right? You've seen it yourself. Spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't. Like the very early parts of the movie, he starts unveiling to like the love interest that he's like actually rich. And that's one thing. Like
that's one thing that's very Asian. I don't know if you guys. I don't know if other cultures do it, but Asian or Chinese people love to pretend to be poor.
Yeah.
They love it.
It's definitely
but when they go out with their friends, they love to flaunt that shit.
Yeah.
But at home, domestically, they'll be like, okay.
No, like, it's funny, like, I guess as I got older and I travelled, it was a bit of an eye-opener for me into different societies. But, like, growing up in New Zealand, because of the fact that New Zealand's far away and it's a popular travel destination for Asians, as a young New Zealander, there's, like, this thing that goes on in your mind that you just assume every single Asian is, like, made of money until you actually travel and you realise that that's not the case. It's just the ones that can actually afford to come over. So there could be, like, a reverse of...
It's the same with... luxury cars.
Yeah.
Like we see the nicest Mercedes here.
Yeah.
You know, I like a black AMG, fucking Batmobile looking motherfucker. But I go to Germany and I see like ice cream trucks that are made by Mercedes.
Yeah.
So we see like only the nicest Mercedes. There are plenty of shitty Mercedes that I wouldn't even want to get in. You know, my ex-girlfriend used to drive like this a cardboard box, like a Flintstone fucking car. And it's like, it's a Mercedes, it can't, you know?
I think Mercedes used to make, like, the bus fleet back home for a while.
Exactly.
So it was like the joke back home is if you're poor and riding the bus, you're like, oh, I'm just going to jump in the Mercedes and head down the road, you know, go to my mate's house. Yeah, so that's that. Yeah, I have seen Crazy Rich Asians. What else are we going to... So we're going to be like a little bit of a podcast that's kind of a little bit comedy, a little bit BJJ. So we both know each other from Toronto BJJ. It's a good little place to roll.
This would be a great ad for them, maybe.
Exactly.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
We should talk to them about...
Yeah, exactly.
Cha-ching!
Hook us up something.
When
or
we
at least
get a good following.
Yeah. Maybe just like some free
fucking donuts.
maybe free private lessons, change white belt life to blue belt life. Help get us up there.
How do you like? So, did you get into jiu-jitsu like I did, following Joe Rogan's footsteps?
It's kind of many different things. I think the sort of catalyst for me was like watching the UFC and also hearing Joe Rogan's podcast. I went on a boys trip to Vegas in 2011. And I'd sort of seen a little bit of the UFC in passing before then, but one of the boys was super into it, and he kind of convinced us all that since we're going to be in Vegas while an event was on, for us to go along. And I kind of fell a lot in love with the sport seeing it live that first time, and I've been to a few UFC events still, and this was like, I mean, even 2011 it was a completely different scene. Like, it was hadn't quite gone mainstream yet. Like, half the crowd was dudes and tap out t-shirts, you know. Whereas the last time I went to a UFC event in Vegas, it was a very different demographic. There's a few of those people around, but it was all kind of dudes in like shirts and suits ready to go clubbing after the event. But yeah, just seeing it live for the first time was what made me really fall in love with it. Just such bloodlust in one arena, and you know, the whole atmosphere they put onto it with the music and that, it really, you know, won me over and made me more curious about the sport and how it worked. And I just another buddy of mine convinced me to come try jiu-jitsu. He was like, I don't know what belt he is now, but he's a brown belt about 3-4 years ago. He's an instructor where he was at, and he was like, you know, come try it out. So, you know, I did. It was pretty cool, and picked it up just as I was about to go traveling. So it's been very sporadic trying to pick it up and go with it. So it's nice being settled here in Toronto and actually being able to go to classes regularly instead of doing a couple a week and then none for a month, and, you know, not really being able to learn. But so Joe Rogan's how you found it?
Yeah, it just got into my brain, you know. I was just listening to a lot of podcasts, which made me come up with the idea of doing a podcast after about like fucking 400 of those motherfuckers. Yeah. And I was just like, oh, okay. It just subliminal, you know, like religious repetition got into my fucking brain and brainwashed me into doing jiu-jitsu. And also Maynard from Tool. I don't know if you know who that is.
Yeah, I'm a Tool fan.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're very similar people, and it's great that we find each other. It's all about, that's what it's all about, like collaboration, finding artists, doing what we can together, and even training together. Yeah.
So how long have you been doing it for?
Jiu-jitsu?
Yeah.
About a year. Still a white belt. Still kind of useless.
Yeah.
Still kind of, you know, I'm a bit better than total beginners. But sometimes people still use strength and a little bit of tech. I find that I'm probably about like top Yeah, it feels great to say that. I'm probably about like top 10 in the class.
Yeah.
In like white belt, probably top 5 even if I'm being. Yeah, maybe I don't know, but the people who beat me are either really really strong or really really good. But there are not that many technical guys that are too much better than me right now. So I'm loving being the top of the white belt class.
Top dog of the white belt, so you're gonna have to go upstairs at some point when you get that big promotion.
I'm not even like putting my name down for the sign up sheet because I kind of don't want them to promo me right away. So I'm just like whenever Vince is like, oh, put your name down, so because that's how they judge, because there are too many students and they don't really keep track of everybody. So I'm loving the climbing a small mountain, and then you just right into stuff before you go down to the big mountain.
Yeah, I got
the never-ending, everlasting mountain. Because once I go up there, there's no another level for me to go up.
Yeah,
well, it's just the second floor. I wish there was a third floor for black belts, but it's just between the first and the second floor.
Yeah, for those,
and it's not like the white belts can't go to the second floor. You guys can totally go to the second floor.
Yeah, I went to the second floor. Well, for those watching who aren't familiar with the layout of Toronto BJJ, it's exactly that. Like they have level 1 is just white belts only, so it's a great environment to learn in. Because I've been at like smaller gyms where it's like everyone's mixed in at once, and the only rolling partners you can find are just some purple belt that like mercilessly smashes you for 5 minutes, and you're kind of like, well, I may have got something from it, but not much. All I really got was smashed by a purple belt. You kind of got white belts who can learn together, and then there's like the second floor where blue belt and up roll, and white belts can go there, but like the techniques are a little more advanced. So I went there one Saturday because of I just misread the website and was an hour early for
their website is not that great. Maybe we can offer them some like web development as well. Because their website, they're out of date. Their info is kind of like haven't been updated for years, I think.
Man, you can do that. My girlfriend already thinks I have too many hobbies, so you're gonna be their web dev. That's on you.
Yeah, but what do you think your level is at like right now? Are you comfortable with?
It's still pretty low. Like, how many times did you tap me in that 5 minutes that we trained together? Like 4 or 5. I don't know. I kind of like, I'm comfortable with. It depends on like right now. Like I haven't got any stripes yet, so there's obviously that as a bit of feedback. But it depends what I find. Like I find that like when I'm so new, there's some techniques I know quite well and some I don't know at all yet. So it's more like whether I'm gonna. Like I've managed to tap some guys with 1 stripe and some guys with no stripes can tap me and they're better than me. So it like, I wouldn't say they're better than me. What I was trying to get at is that like, being that I know some techniques well and some not at all, it just depends on what style I kind of mesh with. Like I kept on like, I found when I was rolling with you, I was trying to like use my elbows to like get free and like drive into you and make you think about it, but it just played into the fact that you really love doing the triangle and you kept on like hammering me with the triangle. As soon as I put my arms down, you're just like, right, triangle time. And like just anything like that. Like if I find someone who kind of plays into the hands of the moves I do know, I'm confident I can get them. But then again, if some people have like, someone of a higher level will have an answer to the fact that you just always wanted to go to the triangle, whereas as soon as you did it, I was like, oh yep, he's triangling me and I don't know what to do now because I just don't. So I'm sorry that's a long-winded answer, but short answer is beginner. I found jiu-jitsu about 2.5 years ago, but like I said, it would be very sporadic. And this time signing up to Toronto BJJ is the first time I've actually trained consistently for like maybe more than a month before then being on the road and traveling somewhere else. And, so maybe I had like 2 or 3 months cumulative over 2 years and then came here and got like, probably now another 4 or so months into the actual solid training block. So
yeah, that's great. So it's so crazy when you meet someone who's almost exactly like a mirror. Like it's like, even though we're so different, like our journey from our own homes to Toronto BJJ is kind of like a celestial happenstance.
Yeah.
So what made you think of just forgetting your home? Like not many. Like I find that the people I come across that I find most interesting are people like us who have just gone off on their own. Left a comfort zone, let's say, and decided to go on an adventure or decided to to take an enormous leap of faith and try comedy, for example, you know, or travel and just backpacking. It's kind of like hippie, kind of like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna. This once in my life, kind of YOLO type shit. The people like us, I guess, are the most interesting. So what made you want to do that? What was it about your... We can go a little deeper. What was it about your past, or what was it about your culture that you kind of wanted to... Because not many people do that. Not many people...
It's like... It's kind of like 3 or 4 questions in one there almost. And the thing is, like, from where I'm from, New Zealand, it's actually a lot more common for people to hit the road than other cultures, perhaps. Possibly because of the whole... the fact that we are that little island at the bottom of the world. It's like an entire nation full of people with cabin fever. Because they
How many people in New Zealand? Tell me.
It's like 4.5 million.
That's wow.
Yeah, so that's like less than Toronto.
That's like exactly.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, so I'd always been wanting to travel for a while, but just for different circumstances, I'd done like a couple of North American trips, but like not a great deal. But
so where have you been? Let's give it a quick.
Oh, this is like I'm going to start applying for residency in Toronto, so this is good. In Canada, sorry. So this is good practice because I've got to list them off. Like I've been to America a few times.
Where? Got to be more specific.
Oh, okay, that's quite the list as well. It's like I've been to like 16 or 17.
Okay, let's keep it to countries.
Okay.
Cities is just like ugh.
Yeah, exactly. I've got to see if I can remember them all off the top of my head. Even when I did my year of traveling, I did like about 25 countries.
Wow.
But like I did US and Canada to start with. Then I went across to Europe and started off in England. Went to Croatia, Czech Republic, Germany.
Wow.
Then Denmark, Holland, back into Germany, then hold on, I've got my geography the wrong way. Holland then goes to Belgium, then through Germany again, Switzerland, then like into Austria, Slovakia, then Hungary, then flew to Italy, Spain, back to the UK and Ireland for a bit before then going to Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, Singapore, and I've been to Australia before, but I had one stop in Australia, and then was then home to New Zealand, chilled out for a month or so, then did the US again, and then came up to Canada and settled in on the 2-year work visa, which may or may not become residency depending on how my application goes.
So you're staying you're choosing to stay in Toronto because of your girlfriend?
All sorts of stuff, really. Like that's a part of it. Like, but the good thing about it is that there's not quite the same pressure.
But why do you want to stay here and not go home?
Just all sorts of things. Like there's more sort of job opportunities here.
Oh yeah, that's true.
There's she is part of it, but she's sort of been open to the idea of New Zealand if I don't get my residency.
Ooh.
So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, so there's more job opportunities, and like I said, I've tried stand up here, and that's gone well the first 4 times. But there's I've seen you've bagged on Toronto's scene. Toronto's scene shits all over New Zealand's scene, so it's horses for courses. The other thing, like at least here, there's like a lot of different open mics. Like my first open mic actually went quite well. But if you bomb in New Zealand your first time out, you'd almost be like, well, there's only like 2 or 3 more open mics. So it'd be like a hard thing to start. And I kind of like Toronto, there's like the sense of anonymity. Like this podcast is actually going to be the first. My friends back home are going to be listening to this being like, what? You've done stand-up comedy? So I kind of like kept it real quiet. But like in New Zealand, it wouldn't be possible to do that. Like I'd do stand-up at an open mic 2 or 3 times because like there's like 3 degrees of separation even in Auckland, which is our biggest city. People would be like, oh man, did you hear Joe was doing stand-up and he was real shit at it? Whereas like Toronto, I could like try a few mics and like it would just be like...
So your friends call you Joe, but...
Yeah, my friends call me Joe, but like that's why my Twitter handle, I'll plug myself, my Twitter handle is Yochum or Joe because I'll kind of go by either, but... I'll go by Joe with my buddies, but on stage, I just want to make hosts at open mic nights work real hard, so that's why I'm going to go with Yochum, make them learn how, make every open mic I've been to, it's like a dude looking at his sheet uncomfortably being like, I think I'm going to say this wrong. Joe Chim.
That is fine. Yeah. I sometimes go on as Mizzle Tizzle.
Mizzle Tizzle.
Yeah.
Where's it?
Like a gangster name.
Yeah. I was about to say, I don't even know your last name yet. I've told mine. You're going to keep yours secret from the public?
Let's call it Tizzle. Let's call it Tizzle.
Your Tizzle's just your last name, all right?
Yeah,
You're going to have that stage name.
Yeah, I guess you're right. It's like when talking about like creative stuff and art stuff. That's why American artists succeed the best, because they have the biggest base of middle class.
Yeah.
You know, there's 300 million, probably 350 million now. Just a huge market for people to explore, and there's always an audience, a niche. You find a niche of like let's say that yours, because nobody can please everybody, right? No music is for everyone. No comedy, no film is for everyone. But let's say you please about like 5% of people. 5%, like 5% of 350 million.
Yeah,
it's a big difference between 5% and 5% of 4 million. You know, so that's how careers get launched, and stars are born, which I'm going to see tonight later.
Nice. I saw that on the weekend.
Oh, is it good?
Yeah, really good movie.
Yeah.
I won't spoiler alert it for our listeners, because then I'd be spoiler alerting it for you.
For me,
yeah. I feel like doing
mainly
that,
for me. But yeah.
Just if you're going with your girl, pack some tissues for her. Pack some tissues for yourself, maybe.
Yeah. Lady Gaga is one.
Yeah.
Is somebody to pack tissues for sure.
pack the Kleenex, pack like the hand towels our camera's sitting on.
I don't get why people use that. I don't really use tissues. I just get rid of it.
Just like an old sock or whatever it is.
People use socks.
Yeah.
People use socks. Have you ever used socks? Yeah, I don't know what people keep saying socks. Like what? I've never talked to anybody who uses socks. I've never known anybody who uses a sock. How big is your? That's like an elephant.
I think that's
a
like
sock.
I don't know. I think that's that's some sort of like movie cliche. That like I don't know. I've never heard of it in real life.
You can put your dick and balls in the sock, and with room to spare.
Yeah,
I mean, I may be giving out too much information.
They're not using it as like a container. It's more like a cleanup device. Like,
it's just as a towel. Use the towel or anything, or a shirt. Why does it have to be a sock?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not the best cleaning.
No,
you want something with a big surface area.
Someone's not trying to like contain the area.
I thought it was like a condom.
No. They're using it. Someone's using it as like a wanky.
That's not a good.
Yeah. Anyway, I love how quickly you could turn that dirty. Big fan of it. Shall we get on to UFC 229? Shall we be the last podcast on this planet to talk about UFC 229?
Just fighting in general.
Yeah.
Just like how crazy it's become. It's just like it's like modern day gladiator. We actually have gladiators.
Yeah.
It's for real.
What did you think of Khabib's flying antics?
You know what caused it though, right?
Yeah.
It was because of racial remarks.
Yeah, it's because of a lot of things. Yeah.
Dylan Dennis was shouting racist shit at Khabib.
Like when he was in the cage.
When he was fighting.
Yeah.
When he was fighting. So like, why? First of all, why didn't anybody say anything when he was shouting?
You think so, right?
Like if I was like. If there was like a black fighter and I was just shouting the N-word nonstop at him, like people would be like, you gotta do something about that guy. But he was like, oh, you Muslim piece of shit, you Muslim rat, you Muslim thing. The whole time, nobody said shit.
Yeah.
And then Khabib was like, you know what, if nobody's gonna do anything, I'm gonna step up.
Yeah.
Maybe that was what he was thinking.
Makes sense. It's been a hell of an interesting fallout with, Khabib threatening to quit the UFC if they fire his teammates.
Right, yeah.
It's
well, when you get to that level, you can start making threats.
Exactly. It'd be interesting though, because it's always been one rule book for Conor, one rule book for everyone else. But whether Khabib's got the pulling power to start writing his own rules.
That's the great thing about the UFC is always like there's always the next great. Who do you think coming up has a good shot of being like someone really great? I got my money on Brian Ortega, but that's only because. He's such a jiu-jitsu guy. Because I believe in jiu-jitsu. Otherwise, why would I be paying and doing it, right?
Exactly. I mean, the UFC's proven that, like...
Khabib fucking proved it. Yeah. I mean, he's not really jiu-jitsu, but that's most of it is jiu-jitsu.
It's like, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, and...
Sambo.
And, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, and Muay Thai would be, like, my three that I'd say would be... You have to do at least one of those, if not two of them, in a balance.
But you can kind of combine wrestling, which is like that. I think I would divide it between stand up and ground.
Yeah,
you just need to cover stand up and ground.
Yeah,
because we know that ground is a totally different animal. It's just a totally different sport almost. You know, we can do our thing on the ground and that's our sport, our workout, and then we can do punches and kicks, and that's another whole world university. You know, another 4-year degree.
Yeah, exactly.
So basically, if you want a complete fighter, you need both. But then, but if when it comes down to it, if you had to pick one, if there was a fighter because you can only do so much. Yeah. You can only focus on so much. There's a world of knowledge. There's an infinite amount of books to read. You can only read so much. So if you had to focus on one martial or one aspect of UFC fighting or fighting in general, I think it would have to be ground or like the wrestling aspect of it, because wrestling was invented just to defend against striking. But striking has no defense against wrestling. Yeah,
exactly. Well, I chose to go with jiu-jitsu myself just because the pure statistic that most fights do end up on the ground.
Yeah.
And like, where do you want to be good at is where the fight finishes, not where it starts.
Yeah. But you can't take away the threat and the danger of stand-up, because you hit a right. You know, you hit the right place at the right time. And
that's exactly it. Like, I mean, I'm not trying to kid myself and say I'm something I'm not just because I'm an extreme beginner at jiu-jitsu. Doesn't, like, if I come across like a boxer who's got 15 years of boxing experience, he's going to beat the shit out of me. And even if he hasn't done a day of jiu-jitsu in his life, you know, like, it's all, you've got to respect levels within each.
Exactly. Still. But every you can learn something good from every martial art. Like even Aikido, even those wrist locks. Like, there's no harm in learning it. There's no harm in another skill or another bit of information or knowledge, but history has proven. You know, you look at stats, you look at history. You know, it's proven that wrestling triumphs over striking a lot of the times.
Yeah, more often than not in the UFC it does. And I have a guy, and it's showing a lot of New Zealand bias, but I'm going to go with him anyway. Israel Adesanya competes in lightweight. He's fighting Derek Brunson in Madison Square Garden at the next UFC 230. I'm actually lucky enough to be heading down to New York for that. Got myself a ticket. Be very front row of the top tier specifically, so I can hang a New Zealand flag over the banners there, represent. Hopefully, he can spot it when he's walking out. But he's a guy. He's about 27 now. He's like 3-0 in the UFC, 14-0 MMA, if I'm remembering correctly. Please hate on me on the internet if I'm getting this wrong, all internet haters. But either way, he's undefeated MMA. He had fought a bunch in kickboxing and normal boxing before. I think he had a glory title shot at one point, missed out on it on decision in a fight that he should have won. But he's he's a Nigerian immigrant to New Zealand, moved to New Zealand when he was about 11 years old. People have compared him to John Jones, but the only real similarities are they're both like lanky black people, basically. Is like
full of rage.
Full
of rage.
But he's an exciting fighter, and like, you know, he has like a lot of different. His striking is amazing. Like Eugene Berryman, his coach at City Kickboxing, who he also coaches Dan Hooker, Shane Young, a bunch of those other guys. He's one of the best coaches in the game, and Izzy is like a student of the game anyway. His striking's next level. He just kind of like, none of his fights get too wild. Like, he'll just like be in the pocket and he'll like pick apart opponents instead of really wailing on them. His one of his expressions is, "I don't swing and hope, I aim and fire." And, you know, he's his striking's amazing. His ground game he's working on. If anyone probably was going to beat him, it would be on the ground. But his ground game's good enough to like at least sort of stuff. And
does he have a belt?
Oh, he's a blue belt. But, you know, like with a lot of those MMA guys, like John Jones is only a blue belt, but like it's because they do a lot of their grappling practices a combination of wrestling and grappling for MMA, whereas like just due to their training schedules, it's hard to read into it.
Yeah, he's probably like a purple or brown.
He'd probably like whoop a lot of like purple belts if they actually just got on the mats.
It's his athleticism.
But
it's
as far
his fucking monster athleticism.
Yeah. But to be fair, so far the fights I've seen him in the UFC have been against people whose strength would also be predominantly striking, and he's picked them apart. He's fighting Derek Brunson at UFC 230, which will be an interesting match.
You know what? I actually kind of take it back.
Yeah.
If I were to get good at something, maybe striking would be more useful.
I think it's like he's got.
First of all, you can fuck up multiple people with striking.
Yeah.
With wrestling, it's just really for someone who is bigger than you.
Yeah.
If you're a big guy, or if you're like us, and we're fighting like 4 like little Chinese dudes, striking is probably the best method to take all 4 of them down.
Well, you're not gonna like you haven't got enough arms to wrestle them all at once. You got to knock a couple of them out.
Here's what it is: wrestling is for defense against big guys.
Yeah,
it's for taking down big guys. But striking is for taking down multiple dudes.
Yeah.
Or smaller dudes.
But the thing is, like you
because you're not going to be able to take down a big guy with a punch.
Yeah.
Unless you're fucking lucky as shit and you hit him right in the eyeball. but if a big guy comes at you, you probably need to hold him and grab him or run away.
Exactly. But the thing is, like the predominant striking tool that like a lot of MMA guys learn is Muay Thai, and like Muay Thai has like I did like a month at Tiger Muay Thai while I was traveling, and you learn a lot about being in the clinch as well, and that's kind of like at least when you get proficient in the clinch there, a lot of the times you can avoid being taken down.
What is it called again? The plum clinch? Is it plum clinch?
Plum clinch? No, I'm not familiar with that. That's outside
one
my
of the
knowledge.
hardest things to say. Plum clinch.
Yeah, it's a real tongue twister.
Yeah, but Muay Thai. I mean, the fucking elbows and the fucking knees in Muay Thai are so vicious that the clinch is not even that important. But I've seen some Muay Thai and they just like
I've seen Izzy like take people apart with his elbows and knees and like Izzy for Israel Adesanya.
Okay. Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see. Like the other thing is their gym, City Kickboxing, has got a philosophy against cutting too much weight, whereas like everyone in the UFC is just desperately trying to cut as much weight as they can. Like Dan Hooker, another one of his gym stablemates, he fought a lot at 145 and wasn't really showing that much success, but now he's stepped up to 155 and he's won his last 4 in a row. And it's just their gym's philosophy of letting their skills shine out. Like Izzy fights at like 170, and he's like when those two walk into the ring, Derek Brunson's going to look huge compared to him. But Israel Adesanya, they've noticed they're not guys from that gym aren't sapped from their weight cut. Like they've got energy to burn, and like they're letting their skills show through, especially in like those longer fights. They've noticed that they were fatiguing out in later rounds, but now they've got like the energy in those later rounds. So if it goes deep, Derek Brunson's going to be in a lot of trouble against him, and Israel's still dangerous enough to get him in the early rounds. So it should be a fun fight. Hopefully Izzy gets up, considering I'll be there in New York with my NZ flag up.
My friend just went to New York. And he was posting it all over Facebook. But the thing is, I probably shouldn't say who he is because I'm going to talk a little bit of shit. He just goes... Like, New York is fun if you're rich.
Yeah.
If you go to New York poor, like, that's just sad. Because there's so much to do. There's so much food to eat.
There is...
I'm a food guy. If I will spend all my money on food on a trip. If I had more to spare, I would do other things like a hooker or something. I don't know. but the main thing is food, right? So my friend went to New York and they were like eating dollar slice pieces, which is great. But there's so much good food. But then again, in New York, to eat well, you don't need to be
I was about to say, like, don't snob off the dollar slice pizzas. Like, I've been to New York and spent like a day just walking from pizza place to pizza place, and like you get amazing slices for like $2-3, whatever. You can like feed yourself pretty well if not much a day there. Yeah. It is better if you've got a lot of money, but then again, most places are. But like that's why it's like, there's just so much going on there. Like I've been there like I think this will be my 5th time. And there's always something new to do. It should be a lot of fun. I'm going to go to a hockey game on the Thursday as well. I'm going to go see Penguins versus Islanders in Brooklyn.
That's what you're spending your money on, sports and events.
Exactly.
And I guess that makes sense too. If that's your thing. Like for me, I have to try everything. Have you ever been to Shake Shack?
Yeah, every time I'm in New York, I got to hit that up. It's like one of my favorites. I end up spending like $20 in one go, even though it's meant to be fast food. I'm like,
what's your favorite fast food? Mine is Shake Shack, probably.
Shake Shack. I mean,
Their cheese fries. Holy shit.
They're pretty awesome. I'm actually like, have you been to the west coast of the US as well?
In-N-Out?
Yeah, I'm probably like...
You like In-N-Out more?
Yeah.
I tried In-N-Out
it's
when
like
I was
a hard push.
Was I in San Francisco? Maybe I'll give them a benefit of the doubt because I only tried them once and maybe they had a bad day. But it was...
I haven't been to it in San Francisco. I've been to a couple in LA.
Yeah.
A couple in San Diego as well.
Shake Shack just rapes that shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Shake Shack's pretty awesome. Like they're... but, you know... Did you order off the secret menu at In-N-Out, or did you order off the normal menu?
Normal, I guess. Normal.
Yeah, well, that's
if it's secret, why would I know about it? If I know about it, then it's not a secret, right?
Yeah, they say secret menu, but I'd say like almost everyone who goes there knows about it, and people either order it off it if they want to, or they're not. And like, if you Google it, like you go to In-N-Out, it's got like basically total like 8 different options on their actual menu. Like the secret menu is like about 5 times the size of like the restaurant menu, so like you can get like animal style fries. It's like that's basically
not
California's
as good as the fucking cheese fries. Not as good.
California's answer to poutine, I guess, would probably be.
Have you been to Chicago?
Once, like 2011, and I was only there for like 30 hours, and I spent most of that time either drunk or hungover.
Yeah, that's not the way to go. Yeah. Chicago has some good food too. A lot of people don't give Chicago enough credit for its food because its crime is so fucking bad.
Yeah.
And the weather is it's like Siberian weather with the worst crime in the world.
Well, but
the food is nice. You know, the hot dogs are great. The deep dish pizza is tolerable.
Yeah.
And they have some pretty good. The West Loop, Chicago West Loop. They have some pretty like gourmet a really famous restaurateur just tore up that street full of like a Girl and the Goat. Restaurant. And
if you're gonna if you're gonna walk a mile through the snow to shoot someone, you probably deserve a good hot dog.
You probably need a good hot dog.
You need a good hot dog and a good lawyer.
Yeah, but New York beats it by a fucking long shot. And because I live there and I know all the in and outs, like the places. I don't even know that much. I think I know a lot, but like a seasoned local motherfucker would.
Where did you actually live there?
I went to NYU.
Oh yeah, but that's like Lower Manhattan.
Yeah,
right? Did you actually live there though?
I lived in Chinatown.
Yeah. Actually, I stayed there. Stayed there once for Chinatown, for like 5 days.
And the New York Chinatown is the only Chinatown that I respect outside of China.
Yeah.
Like,
what makes a good Chinatown for you?
Food.
Yeah.
You can tell the food is the ultimate. How do you say representation of a culture? In my opinion. So like, if I really want to know what other people are like, I eat their food, and it like a part of their culture goes inside of me.
Yeah.
Quite literally, you know. So when I eat Chinese food in New York, I feel like, wow, okay, they get it, you know? So it is Chinese people from back home coming here. But when I eat Chinese food in Toronto, it just tastes like a bunch of, really lazy Chinese people or people who just don't give a fuck. Or people who have stayed here for so long that they kind of forgot where we came from, you know? So the flavors are all mixed in with, like, mayonnaise, you know. But it's not that they put mayonnaise, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I got you.
So yeah, but the food in New York, the one thing I would, that's how I think that would be how I determine where I live, where the food is. You know, I can't live in like people are like, oh, I just want to be in the mountains, in the hills, like wrapped up in a good book. I don't need much because I'm vegan, and I just like let's have my dogs. No, I need like at least 150,000 restaurants for me to choose from, and that's New York. Yeah. Is that okay? My girlfriend is in the other room, probably. Instagram, whatever, you know, whatever girls do.
Yeah, so one of the things we spoke that we were going to do is prepare each other a news story. I was going to get you one from New Zealand, and you were going to get me one from over here, China, somewhere like that. Yeah. Do you have anything? Did you do your homework?
Yeah, I did.
What do you got for me?
So I was just talking to my friend. a mutual friend of ours, Michael, about this story, and he was loving it. So I was just gonna bring this to you. So the last prime minister of Hong I've been out of fucking touch for so long. I think we call him the prime minister. So the head of state of Hong Kong is a guy called Donald Tsang.
Yeah.
And we call him Bow Tie Tang because he wears a bow tie.
Yeah.
Just like all the politicians in Hong Kong wear ties like a normal person.
Yeah, yeah.
And he just wears a bow tie like he's 007.
I love how that actually sounded like a Chinese name to me.
Exactly. And that's his name. Like we call him Bow Tie Tang.
Yeah.
Know? And this is a white belt. Let's put it here next time.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
We'll figure out how to decorate the place properly.
Yeah. So that maybe like by 1,000th podcast, people will start noticing.
Yeah.
So he was the head of state for Hong Kong for about like 10 years. Basically the whole time I was living in Hong Kong. But my youth, my adolescent, my pubescent rage era. And guess where he is now?
Where is he now?
He's in prison.
Prison? What? All right. This is recent?
Yeah, this was about like just a few, maybe like less than a year ago. Less, maybe less. But he was, because the thing about Hong Kong people don't understand, like most of the crime is white collar stuff.
Yeah.
You know, we don't have a drug problem. You know, our culture is so strict on drugs that nobody dares to take them.
Yeah.
Nobody have the guts, unless you're really poor and just have fuck it, just like fuck it, I just want to die, and then you take drugs.
Yeah.
But they don't do it recreationally like we do.
Yeah.
So we don't have a drug problem, so there's not much, and guns are illegal, so there's no murder. So all the crime is like bribery, corruption.
Yeah.
White collar shit, finance crimes, and real estate scandals, and these types of crimes are so bad that we have a group called ICAC, which is a private, non-government, non-subsidized police force for. It's not right that I say non-subsidized, but I'll circle back to that. Police for to battle corruption. It's called the Investigative Corruption Committee. I don't know what the I said. ICAC is something committee against corruption.
Yeah.
So this is something like it's like a NASA type deal, and they investigate government officials, and maybe some corporate people if they have time. But most of the time they just investigate they investigate everybody against corruption. And Donald Tsang, Bow Tie Tang, was the head of ICAC. Yeah. He was the director. It's like the director of the FBI.
Gotcha.
And then he became prime minister because we don't elect him. He was just chosen by his employer, by his boss, by China, by whatever, to become our prime minister. So it's not like we picked him. So he was just working up the ranks of politics, and he was the head of ICAC, and he became the prime minister of Hong Kong. And then ICAC fucking brought a case on him, like right after his tenure. And maybe because like ICAC, they were the whole time. So like when we circle back, like the whole time, like 8-10 years that he was prime minister, they were just building this fucking case against him. They were just wiretapping his shit. Yeah. You know, and like, can you just imagine how far they went back? Because it's like the director of the FBI got taken down by the FBI, and the FBI was investigating him the whole time. Yeah. You know, it's so crazy.
They just had to like wait for him to get out of the position of power before they could nail him for it.
I know, and it's like we were so relieved, we were so happy because Chinese people don't often see corruption get taken down, get justice, because it doesn't happen very often.
It's got to be like
exactly
throw the people a bone or something.
Exactly. So we were cheering. We were so happy when that happened, and it was just. I would love to tell that story to the world, or like make that into something, you know, because that's such a great like motivation. Hello, Kima. Morality.
I love that like you've had this incredible serious story of like corruption and like a powerful politician falling. Considering like I've been a little bit unprepared here. I should have had the story up, but I'm gonna go look for it just so I can get out some of the. I could tell you the story, but it's so much better if I also get the quotes that go with it.
We should probably get like we can do this post where we upload clips and we can show people, like when we talk about
probably
we can get a picture up or some shit. Goat fucking.
not quite goat fucking, but anyway, there's like the headline is mullet sheep shear a hit with All Black, which is like the most offensively New Zealand title I could possibly think of for a news story. And basically, like, we'll overlay a photo of this, but a sheep got like you might have not. This might be you seeing the photo of it for the first time. A farmer shaved a sheep to basically have a mullet style haircut.
That's great.
And
what the problem is?
There's no problem with it at all. It's just incredible. By offensively New Zealand, I mean, fuck you. Like, why are you hitting every single stereotype in one story? Like, not that it was actually offensive what happened. Basically, like, okay, so sheep and rugby in one headline. Offensively New Zealand, enough. Both our stereotypes. But it goes on to it reveals that the sheep belongs to a guy called Sir David Fagan. It was his son who gave the sheep the haircut, but Sir David Fagan has a Sir in his name because he is really good at shearing sheep. Now is that incredibly offensively New Zealand? Yes, fuck yeah, it is.
This is how you know New Zealand is a great fucking country.
Yeah.
Because all the news that comes out of the US is all negative shit.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like the president's lost his mind. Kanye West is going crazy with Donald Trump. But the news is just it's just like it's a nice, entertaining. The news actually knows what it should do, which is to entertain people and like to make people feel good. Like American news is all fucking tragic.
As someone who used to work in a newsroom, the news shouldn't be entertainment, but that's like another argument. But yeah, so that's why watching New Zealand news is amazing, because it's like, in foreign news, bombs flying over Syria, Donald Trump is like starting trade wars, and back home we've given a sheep a haircut. So like, yeah, the Golden Shears is a competition each year for how many sheep you can shear in a certain amount of time. I'm the worst Kiwi ever for not knowing the exact time frame, but Sir David Fagan...
You guys call yourself Kiwis?
Yeah.
Is that an offensive thing? No.
No. It's not like an offensive thing. Like, we put the nickname on ourselves.
Really?
So
why Kiwi?
Because like our you know how like America has the eagle and other countries have their bird. Like Kiwi is actually
that's a bird.
Yeah,
it's not a kiwi. I was thinking of kiwi.
Yeah, no, it's not the kiwi fruit. Like it's an actual. It's like a flightless bird, and which is like. Maybe not our greatest claim to fame, like, you know, America has their majestic
Americans don't call themselves eagles.
Yeah, exactly.
We're a bald eagle.
I don't know how, but yeah, everywhere else has got the coolest birds in the world. We've got like these small things that can't fly and are basically going to go the way of the panda because they won't fuck each other. So,
what do you think? Do you think the New Zealand people have like a good sense of humor, like in general?
Reasonably, like I think like. There would be more successful New Zealand stand-ups overseas if they would just leave New Zealand. Like, they don't get the platform that you're talking about. And some of them get, like, so when they stay at home, they get so intensely regional. Like, you know, if you go to cities in the US and they're, like, they open up for a big comic, but they're making jokes about congestion on the local freeway and, like, how you're ever going to go international with that. Like, you know, I find New Zealand comedians hilarious, but you'd just be sitting there while they're like, well... making jokes about like the latest tax that Jacinda Ardern, our Prime Minister's put on fuel, and you're like, I didn't know your Prime Minister's name until a minute ago. I didn't know that a fuel tax was a thing. Why is this funny to me? You know, so if you watch them on TV, you'd probably be like, this is rubbish. But you know, if you actually know what they're talking about, they're pretty good. So anyway, the story just got more and more New Zealand. Like the guy who cut the sheep posted a photo on his own Facebook, like not a public Instagram page, just his own Facebook, and the sheep was like supposed to be named after two All Blacks, and through him just posting it on his own Facebook, the All Black in question like found the photo and posted it to his Instagram, and then it went viral. And like, can you think about that? Like, if I'm in Toronto and I like make something as a tribute to John Tavares or Austin Matthews and post it on my own Facebook, they're probably not going to find it. But it got more offensively New Zealand when the fact that like everyone's only separated by 3 or 4 people came out. And yeah, it was a funny news story. Yeah, so that's my little bit of New Zealand news. Put away the laptop now. Are you going to UFC 231 in Toronto?
That's Ortega, right?
Yeah.
I want to.
That's it.
That's what I'm going to say. I want to. But if I have the means for, or if I... See, that's the thing. Like, I've been to so many, like, concerts and comedy that I know that it really matters where you are.
Yeah.
If you're going to a comedy show, first of all, I don't really want to go to a comedy show anymore because I can experience I can experience comedy on my computer so much better. Concert's not the same. Concert's not the same for sure. But comedy, when I was up, unless I'm like fucking in front of the guy, then it's great. But a lot of times when I saw Chris Rock, I saw Jim Jeffries, I saw Tom Segura, I saw Bill Burr, I saw Anthony Jeselnik. Probably some of those are probably my biggest ones, and they were great, but not as great as when I watched their special.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes it was just like a lot of people laugh really loudly, and a lot of time I miss a lot of shit. I feel like I miss more because when the special, sometimes I can like rewind or like watch whatever, but I miss it. I wish I could rewind because sometimes I just like I wish I could just rewind that bit and hear what was going on.
I like being in the moment of a small comedy club.
Yeah, that would be good.
I love that. It's a lot of fun. I went to go see Joe Rogan at Scotiabank Arena, and
is that too big?
Yeah, like I didn't want to just come out and say it was terrible because Joe Rogan's material was great and I enjoy him as a stand-up, but being in like a stand-up, being in like a arena was terrible. Like,
exactly. So if I go to see a UFC fight, it would be great if I was fucking cage side.
Yeah.
But if I'm way in the parking lot, then why pay 180?
Yeah.
150. Exactly. 150. 150.
Yeah. I got like I think it should be right. I'll be kind of top tier, but close to the front of the top tier, so hopefully that'll be okay.
No, it's important to. Have you seen a UFC fight before?
Yeah, I've been to, like I said, I've been to 3 in Vegas now, one in Auckland when they had a fight night, and
I know I'm gonna have to see one, so I might as well see one.
Yeah.
But if I'm gonna see one, I want it to be a good one.
Yeah.
And you know, it's gonna cost so much.
I think it'll be a good. I mean, the card isn't that deep, but the 2 main events are going to be incredible. Like, you know, Ortega, Holloway. Hopefully, Holloway actually makes weight and has no health problems this time around. And Shevchenko versus how am I going to try?
I think Ortega's going to destroy him.
Jan Jacek, or everyone just calls it Joanna because her last name's impossible. That'll be a really fun fight as well. And
that's the girl?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't even know.
Joanna, who was she was the 115 champion for a long time before Rose Namajunas beat her, and Valentina Shevchenko is had two title challenges at 135 against Nunes, and should have won both of them, but lost both of them on decision. They're both fighting for a 125 title. I think Valentina's going to kill her because Valentina's just an incredibly skilled fighter and much naturally bigger. And Joanna's probably seen her day, but Joanna needs it really bad after losing to Rose twice. So, interesting matchup. And I'm really glad it's happening in Toronto because like they were meant to schedule in Toronto. The UFC wanted to move it forward to the card I'm going to in New York, but Valentina said yes, Joanna said no, and they were going to have Valentina fight some scrub who won the Ultimate Fighter, and then they were going to have Joanna fight someone else in Toronto, and it would have turned one amazing fight into 2 shitty ones. And I was going to both cards, and I was like, don't give me 2 shitty cards on both the cards I'm going to, just save one of them to give me an amazing fight at one of the cards I'm going to. So should be a good fight. I'm picking Valentina, but wouldn't surprise me or I wouldn't begrudge Joanna if she took it.
Yeah, you got to tell me how it goes. Take some good pictures. Send me some pictures when you're there.
I'll let you know with that ghetto ass camera that is about to run out because it only records half an hour at a time. So probably a good time for us to say thanks for watching episode 1.
Wow, time flies, huh?
Like our pages that need to be liked, subscribe to pages that need to be subscribed. We'll catch up next time.
Us.